There we go. Hey. Welcome to the Green Umbrella Live Lunch. Just me and Nicole today. How about that? Kim is off doing her thing. It's her little boy's birthday today, so she's off getting things ready for after school celebrations there. So it's just us two today, Nicole. We
Just
can
to
hold
say.
the fort, can't we?
Yeah, I feel like we've always done our rounds. It was me and Kim last week. I think the three of us were together the week before, and then now it's back to you and me. So
Yeah.
next week maybe it'll be you and Kim. Who knows? Who knows?
Absolutely. I don't know what's going on. I don't think it's allowing me to go live on my LinkedIn today. Technical
Do you want me to
hits
check?
there. We won't stress about it. We'll just crack on. I can post about it later. It'll all be fine. We're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like when you do these when you live stream, like stuff happens, and we just have to go with it. So there's worse things going on in the world right now than this not going live on my LinkedIn. And we've got a workaround. I can post about it later with the link to YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
It's good. It's all good. So. Oh, do you know, it's like, I don't know what's happened this week. Monday, Tuesday, I was off. So part of what I do, obviously I do all the Green Umbrella stuff, but as part of that, I'm also involved with a mastermind that I'm a mentor on. So I'm like a marketing I'm there as like a marketing mentor, but every quarter we have a 2-day event where all the entrepreneurs in a couple of masterminds get together in person and have 2 days of learning and planning and that kind of stuff. And I now host these 2 days. So it's great because I talk about marketing. I get to talk a bit about mindset. I get to talk about business in general, and all the bits that you need to make a business work. So like Monday, Tuesday, I was off doing that. And I just feel like so motivated this week because of it. We had a speaker coming in, a guy called Ryan Pinnock, and he was talking about like the mindset stuff and like the vision and the language you use when you're having sort of sales conversations and you're pitching and that sort of stuff. And it just gave me a few ideas. We had Rob Moore was speaking. So Rob Moore is like, he's got one of the biggest podcasts in the UK. It's called Disruptors. And he was talking all around sort of how to monetize your podcast through sponsorship and running memberships and that sort of stuff. So it's a massively valuable 2 days for all those entrepreneurs in the room to just think about what they're offering and how they can offer it in a different way to like bring more value into the business and increase their revenue streams, that sort of stuff. I was talking about LinkedIn. And do you know what? It's like everyone always wants me to talk about LinkedIn. I think because LinkedIn is such an underutilized tool, it's that social media platform where people are almost nervous of it. They're a little bit sort of scared to use it. And I think because the information out there's always tons of stuff around how to get the most out of Facebook, how to get the most out of Instagram. But LinkedIn, people just view in a different way because they see it as being this sort of mature business to business platform, the tone being like, the tone must be XYZ. And yes, it is more of a business to business platform, but you still need to be you. So it was great to spend sort of like a couple of hours just like knocking those barriers away and getting people more excited about using LinkedIn. So it was just a fab 2 days doing that. So and it takes a lot of energy doing these things. So yesterday I was just kind of wiped out and like getting on top of emails and admin and that sort of stuff. And now all of a sudden it's Thursday lunchtime, we're at live lunch, and it's like, for me, it's like we do live lunch and it feels like the week's almost over at that point.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's happened to this week. So it's been a bit crazy. And I know we've barely, I think we've spoken once this week, Nicole, haven't we? Which is literally 10 this morning. And at that point, I didn't ask you how your week's been. I didn't ask you like how things are going and if anything's cropped up for you. So how's it been? Anything in particular been going
on? To be honest, I feel like I haven't stopped like in the past few weeks. That's genuinely how I'm feeling. And I did, I think, briefly say like I am reaching. Oh, you read my mind. It's probably just the way I look. I'm like just like so, just feeling it today. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely overdue a just evening to myself because I feel like it's work, work, work throughout the day. And I feel like there's a lot going on with work at the moment. And then it's like I feel like, do you know one of those stretchy toys? And he had like blonde hair and those blue little like shorts on. And like he was a stretchy thing. That's how I feel because I just feel like everyone just wanting a slice and a coal at the moment. And I'm just like, I just need a break. Like evenings, weekends. I can't remember the last time I had a free weekend. And like something you need to know about me is I love a weekend to myself. I do.
Like a quiet.
Sometimes I just love to shut out from the world and just be like, okay, I'm going to catch up on life. And you know, when it's like, there we go, Paul. The reason I said that is because I thought Paul might get it. Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, that's genuinely how I feel at the moment. Yeah. Oh, and it's Kim's boy's birthday today. So that's where she is. There you go.
Perfect. Cool. Okay, so it has been a bit of one of those headache weeks in the world of social media. What with Facebook going down, and then I've heard some reports that LinkedIn went down late last night as well for a little while. I haven't had a chance
What's going on with Meta?
So yeah, I mean, but the Meta thing is, yeah, that it was out for a little while, and but this is the funny thing, like everyone's like, oh no, nobody uses X, but when anything goes down,
yes, completely agree.
What's happening?
Because I tried refreshing my Instagram like so many times, and I was like, "Have I been hacked?" Like, you just sat there, and I was like, "Have I been hacked?" And then I was like, "Twitter." So I went over to Twitter. First hashtag trending, Instagram down, and then I realized a bit later Facebook was down too. And it took a while to come back up. Like I thought, as my 5G ran out, I was like, really, yeah.
One of those things.
And then LinkedIn as well. I didn't notice that one.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was. I have a kind of a bit of a rule now. So I am when it gets to 9 p.m. I try and have a cut off from social media.
Oh, that's a good idea.
This year I've really, really tried to commit to that. The phone goes on do not disturb. I try it like the phone's away from me. I try and like be off it. There's a few people that still manage to get through to me at that point, but the kids and that kind of thing. But yeah, I try to be like anti-phone from 9 p.m. onwards. I just get sucked into everything.
Yeah. Do you have your phone on sleep mode? Like, do you have it timed every day now to go on? Because I do think that was quite a good like invention, sort of, I don't know, feature added to get you to come away from the phone for a bit. But then what I wonder is, imagine if someone's trying to call you for an emergency.
So you can select people as favourites. And so, like, if the kids had an emergency, they can like the call will still come through. And there's a couple of people like my inner circle, like so like I'll still get their messages, I'll still get their calls, even though it's in that mode. So
I need to set that up because that's what I do worry about. Imagine if like, I don't know, I always think if my sister's locked out or something and it's like she's just out like at like 3 a.m. and it's like she can't get in, it's like but I never, when your phone's on sleep mode, it's so hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, actually receiving it anyway.
So here's the funny thing about the outage. So literally, I'm on stage on Monday talking about LinkedIn, and as part of that, I'm talking about lead generation and sales, and the fact that and how your LinkedIn network, we should treat it as a CRM. It should be high quality. We don't want any crap in there, basically, and it's about quality rather than just having numbers in there, because you can only have up to 30,000 connections anyway. After that, it's like people can follow you. And you don't want to get to a place where you're having to spend time like disconnecting from people so that you can connect with valuable people because you've blown your numbers up in the early days. So like literally I'd had that conversation on the Monday. I talked about the fact that, these people need to be in your database, because if LinkedIn went down and never came back up again, and the same thing, Facebook is like, if any of these social media platforms go down, you've lost that data. And then, like, literally 24 hours later, Facebook's down, Instagram's down. 48 hours later, LinkedIn's down. And it just proves the point. I opened my blinds because I thought, oh, it's not very sunny, it's very cloudy, and all of a sudden the sun's breaking through. So you see me suddenly washed out. Yeah, but this is the thing. It's so important we have these tactics in place so that we can pull these people that we're interacting with on social media, pull them off of there into our databases. So it's data we own, first party data, because we can do what we want to with that data now. We can communicate with them in different ways, and email, using SMS messaging, that kind of thing. We've got their addresses, direct mail. There's so much we can do. And we've got control in terms of how we use that data. All those followers that we amass, all those connections that we amass, we're reliant on the algorithms to show our content to the right people. Whereas if that data's in our CRM, in like whether you're using HubSpot, Capsule, Keep, Active Campaign, if you're using MailChimp, like whatever software, whatever system you're using, you bring those people in, you've got them tagged, you can segment that data. If I want to put something out there that is just like general information around marketing, I can send it to everyone. If I want to put some information out there that is just recruitment specific, I can send it to just the recruiters. I've got that control. Whereas on LinkedIn, I post something, it goes to who LinkedIn decides to show it to. So pulling that data across to us it's just vital. And the great thing is there's so many ways of us being able to do that now. It's not, like back in the early days where it's just like, let's do an ebook. And it was like, that was the only option. But now we could do ebooks. We can have PDFs, white papers, we can have quizzes, we can do like little mini trainings that people can sign up for. I think I've got a list of like 22 different lead magnet options that people could opt for. There's so many ways of doing it in a really valuable way where you can pull people through and segment, like tag them in your database so that you can do that sort of segmented, more targeted marketing going forward. So this week has just been absolute proof that is the strategy everyone should be applying. That is the tactic, that they're the tactics we should all be working on. So yeah, we're like, when this stuff happens, people are like, oh my God, it's down. What are we going to do? And I'm like, this is exactly the moment where you need to check that all your ducks are in a row and make sure everything's okay. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so like I said, that's probably the biggest news this week anyway, those outages. But there's a few other things that have happened. So like, what have you got for us, Nicole?
Well, what I was just going to say was on just that, what you were talking about is that you can imagine, because did you see Elon took the mick out of Facebook and Instagram? And I thought, of course, he's just like living in this moment, isn't he? Like, he probably thought, that's when he looked at probably the monthly statistics, it's like that's just going to have a huge spike that day because everyone just went over to it because there's no other social media platforms that are probably sharing this. So I just found that quite funny. But then some of the things I was seeing were hilarious, like the people, like the captions people were putting against like videos of people just having breakdowns. But it's so right, like once you don't have it, you really realize like how much that is just a part of your life. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like your phone. If your phone just got lost or stolen, or it's like losing that, is you almost don't feel complete. It's strange. And that's what like social media does, I think. It's like it's a way of connecting with the world. So not having that.
This is where that social media addiction plays out. This is why it's so important to work in that world like as we do, that you have these kind of rules to give you that space away from it. I'm gonna have to close this blind because
mine is bad as well. I'm like, literally, it's
Here we go. I'm back. But yeah, but even because I feel like entrepreneurs as well spend a lot of time. Like they might not be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. 24/7 like we are. But to manage their businesses, to do what they need to do to get out there, they're still in it a lot. So it is having those rules in place that gives you that time out from it. Like at the weekends, so I still use social media as a normal person.
Yeah.
But even like I do try and limit what I do personally because I do so much professionally.
Mm.
And it is that for me to be present, I need to not be scrolling. So I have to have these kinds of little
Boundaries.
little rules, boundaries,
Yeah.
standards, if you like, to make sure that everything remains in check.
Yeah, I do understand that because it does just, yeah, I don't know, it does take over your life. So it's like
Yeah.
actually having that's why even us talking about sleep mode, it's just nice to actually just not get bombarded by people, like, and just it's like, oh, that can just wait till the morning. But yes,
Abs-
anyway, I have some little Instagram updates about DMs. So if you use your Instagram DMs, which I'm sure a lot of people do to send funny videos to people, but you can now edit your messaging, which I feel like everyone is jumping on at the moment. It's up to 15 minutes after sending. So exactly like WhatsApp. iMessage do it now. So that's a new feature, which I feel like this is always a good feature, but then it just outs you by putting edited. And then I'm like, WhatsApp, I would say, is the nicest, is in the cleanest, because you can edit a message and it will just have like edited, like really small. But then, like iMessage, for example, it leaves a huge gaping gap when you've sent a message. And if you edit it, your next message, it's like this much gap in between. And I'm just like, well, what's the point? It just looks not clean when you're sending messages. So I don't even bother with iMessage. WhatsApp now and then. But I feel if they know you so well that it's just like there's I don't know, but it's a good feature to have.
I
And
mean,
then
I'm terrible because I'm so
yeah,
bang, bang, bang with my
yeah,
messages, and like you guys know, like my typing is atrocious, and autocorrect is,
yeah,
and I never see my mistakes till after I've sent it. So like I very rarely message on Instagram because of not being able to edit them.
yeah.
So, like, if I've got to send a message on Instagram, I'll quite often like write it in notes first.
That's a good idea. Let it highlight all the
Yeah, so I just try and stay away from messaging on Insta. But now that edit feature is there, it's definitely going to make my life a bit
yeah.
more.
And the
And I
thing
see
is, I feel like
I am once I see that there's a mistake there, like I'm like it stresses me out, so I have to
that's
fix
what
it.
I'm like. I'm like, I have to change it. But then I just hate how it outs you. Like, why does it have to say edited? Like, why can't it just leave it? And you just edit the message privately. And then it looks just like the perfect message. Because imagine if you're, I don't know, I'm sure like they'll all start introducing it. Because if WhatsApp's done it, now Instagram, iMessage has done it, I'm sure Facebook and like LinkedIn, they'll get changed soon. But I feel like it is a good feature because if you were to say send a message to someone in your professional circle, it's not so much like the pressure is there is like you would be like, oh my God, look at that mistake I've made, and you'll want to edit it. And like, I think that's a good option. But for example, when you sent me a message, I get the grips of what you're saying. So I'm just like, it's cool. Like I
Yeah,
literally, I think there was one message, I think it might have been last week. It was like, what? But it was like WH and then capital T. Like, and I thought she's definitely like just quickly like writing like, but I do the same. It's funny.
yeah, I do that, and I dictate messages as well. You know, like the voice dictation thing, and then
Yeah.
read those back at like, especially when I'm driving. Probably
Yeah.
probably shouldn't admit that whilst we're live, should I? But then I read the messages afterwards, and I'm like, "Oh, crap."
The
Like, no
thing
wonder
is,
that
like,
was
with that message, I was gonna say, like, was she driving? But then I was like, I'll leave it out. And then you put because it did seem like one of those because they don't really pick up sometimes what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Like it gets the gist, but it can't quite. Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you mean, but I'm the same. Like when you've got stuff in your hands or you're like busy, it's like it is quicker to use that. Anyway, it's also you can now pin chats as well. So like I'm guessing kind of again similar to the what is it like the iMessage feature if you have a Android users might have this as well, but you can pin chats in your iMessage. So I'm guessing it would just put the first people to the top. But I'm like
Are
on Instagram.
they giving you a maximum number of pinned chats?
Let's have a
That's
look.
what I haven't had a chance to check that yet. Because like
Um,
on WhatsApp, you can only pin 3, can't you?
Yeah. Oh, I can't see where it says. Pin, here we go. Up to 3 chats at the top of their DM inbox. Oh yeah, and it does look like it's kind of similar to it is quite similar to WhatsApp, I'm guessing, because it will just have that little pin next to it. So it's like I don't know if you've seen, but like I don't really message a lot of people on iMessage, but it puts the circles at the top. So it's like that's how they pin them. It's like a different layout. But yeah, no, I feel like if you message a lot of people on Instagram, then that'll be useful. But at the same time, I feel how many people are you messaging on Instagram? Like surely they're in the same bunch of people. And then
Although, so using it for business purposes, I find that some people are slow to respond. So that there's, for example, right now, I'm in a conversation with someone on Instagram about speaking at an event. So I would want to pin that because I'm waiting for a response and I don't want to miss the response and I don't want to forget, because if they don't come back, I'm going to have to follow up or try and message them a different way. Yeah, so it
that is very true.
Yeah.
Because I guess if you're sort of waiting on something, or if you're meant to reply and you haven't replied yet, pinning it at the top will remind you. Because I'm very much like that in emails, you know. I will always like put the flags on when I'm like, right, I need to reply to that. Like I need to make sure I reply to that today. So it's like I'll flag them. So then it's like the red ones, I'm like, importance. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes if they are really important, people will put the exclamation marks. But then for my own benefit, it's like I always add the little flag so it reminds me to reply that day. But yeah, let's have a look what else there is, because I did see, I don't know, this was last week. I think I actually did this one last week. Oops. So we won't do that. But yes, I'm just having a look through. Christina's working her magic fingers on something, so I'm doing what I did last week.
I might try to be really subtle, but so we've I've got something quite urgent that needed to go out, and it's like literally I just had it. I'm like trying to pretend I'm not doing it in the background. It's terrible. The
thing is, people are probably thinking, why is Christina ignoring Nicole? And then like, so I was like, I'm just gonna say, like, this is what happened. It happened last week as well, though, because Kim, she had a little friend round, Dora the dog, which you've probably seen many times now, everyone. And she had to go, and Dora got in the bin. And she had to see, Paul knows, he was there last week, but she had to go and like sort her out, sorry. So I was just there like having to chat to myself for like 5 minutes. I was just like, so anyway, let's have a look what else we've got, everyone. Like I'm like some influencer on like Instagram Live.
Oh, right, well, I'm back in the room now. So LinkedIn there was an interview where one of the sort of chief engineers at LinkedIn was being interviewed, and he was talking about the algorithm and some of the changes that they're making. And it was really interesting because some people, not many people, I'm like maybe 4 or 5 people over the last couple of weeks have said to me that they keep like they're going through their LinkedIn feed and they just keep seeing stuff that's actually quite old. And they're like, why am I getting old stuff? Apparently, what's happened is that what LinkedIn has done is, in terms of the distribution of content, they are basically, if they're seeing content that's evergreen content, so it's valid all the time, it's not time sensitive, they see that and it's high value, they're actually going to resurface it to relevant people. So let's say I did something, let's say I put something out there that's like seven things you must know, 7 things that will generate leads on LinkedIn. That's going to be valuable for a long period of time. That is evergreen content, right? So people that are interested in how to get value from LinkedIn, they're LinkedIn's going to continue to surface that to those people. So whereas like before I'd post that and maybe like days, weeks, and then that's kind of it, that post is dead. Potentially now some of this evergreen content, its life now could actually be months
Yeah.
because of the way LinkedIn is treating it in the algorithm. So it's quite interesting, and it makes it worth investing again in the evergreen content, that sort of high level, that sort of those chunkier, meatier posts on LinkedIn rather than the throwaway stuff. So,
Yeah.
when I say chunkier, meatier things, I'm thinking, you could do a LinkedIn post that's like 300-400 words, 500 words. I mean, you could go longer, but I'd say 300 words I think is about right for a LinkedIn post, really, like for a longer one.
Yeah.
And there's actually more valuable now in doing more value in doing that type of post, that type of length, almost like a mini blog.
Mm.
When it's evergreen content, if this is going to work in terms of this resurfacing.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite an interesting thing there. So
Yeah,
that
like
go on.
yeah, I saw this post on LinkedIn yesterday on mine, and it was weeks old, but it's still relevant. But it was a campaign for Burger King, and it was like so interesting because all I saw was this disgusting picture of a moldy burger on my screen. And I was like, oh, what is that? And then I read the first line, and it was like, I love this Burger King campaign. And it actually made me click, and it was a very sort of chunkier, say, LinkedIn post. And I read it all, and it was just like, but it was weeks. It might have even been a month old, this post. Like, it wasn't like new or anything. But I was like, I'm going to share that, because I think obviously then as well, when people it's not really going out of date, because it was just a Burger King campaign to basically say that they're not as like, they don't use like as many. I think they were just trying to like up one everyone by, instead of showing this lovely juicy burger that you want to eat, they're showing what happens naturally to food, so it's not all just full of like what's the word, Christina?
Preservatives.
Preservatives. Yeah, that it was really interesting, and I was like, I'm going to share that, because I was like, that's worth, like, people then see that and they might. I'm not a fan of Burger King or anything, but I just thought it was a really good campaign.
This is anything that stops you in the feed. Anything
Yeah,
that goes in that way. That's what works. So in
yeah,
it way, I like the real life stuff. I like that always works best.
yeah,
People always say, "Oh my god, yeah, I did this post and it was just a photo and like I didn't think about it," and like that's the one that worked. That's the one that sticks and
yeah,
gets people working and getting the reach and getting the engagement. But it's also stuff like that, the stuff that people don't expect, the stuff that challenges beliefs. That's
mm,
notice, because it's almost jarring.
yeah,
You see the moldy burger and you're like, shit, like, ugh, what is that?
yeah. Like, I was like, it's a bit much. Well, it took up the whole screen. I was just a bit like, okay, what's
Yeah,
that?
thanks for that.
Yeah,
Okay, so the other thing that was talked about in this article is broetry. Okay, so broetry is this term it's been around for a couple of years. So what happened was that at one point people realized that, like on your LinkedIn post, there'll be a couple of lines of text and then you'll see a read, like if you've got an image or a link there, you see a couple of lines and a read more. So people
yeah,
started
yeah.
these posts where it's like one short sentence, a gap, one short sentence, and of
Oh,
course
yeah, I've
it.
seen them. I've seen them.
And essentially that was an algorithm
Really?
hack, because
Yeah.
LinkedIn would see that, click on read more as, oh, this must be an interesting post. Well, LinkedIn have basically said, yeah, we don't do that anymore because we know it's people just trying to hack the system. So
Wow.
in your posts, they're no longer using that read more as a signal that the post is interesting.
Wow, because even if someone was to click that read more, that counts as a click. Like, when you look through the analytics, it on LinkedIn, it has a click section. And
Yeah.
I'm always assuming, I've never really, I guess when you've said that, then it's like that does count as a click. Because if it's a read more post, and when it is in the feed, it is going to say that. So that's why people click. But sometimes I think of people going to the resource that I've shared or the link that I'm sharing in these posts. That's what sometimes I think. I don't know, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
leaving the gaps, I see that and I'm like, why? It's so long.
it's a yeah, and this is the thing. This is what I say all the time. There's all these things like, yeah, how to hack the system. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, do we really think LinkedIn's not smart enough to be able to build
Yeah.
our algorithm to go like, no, this is what's happening? It's like pods. You know, when LinkedIn sees that the same 20, 30 people, they're liking your post all within 5, 10 minutes of each other, all within an hour of you posting, they start to like they know what's going on because people talk about pods and there's software out there to help you create the
Yeah.
pod. But they know what's going on, and so they start to recognise the behaviour and go, yeah, okay, well, let's downplay that post because you're trying to hack the system. There is, and it was said in this interview, and it's something I've said for a long time. Stop stressing about the different ways to hack the system. Instead, focus on creating good, solid, valuable content because that's
Yeah.
what works. If you've got a crappy post and 30 people like it, it's still a crappy post.
Yeah. No,
You
it
know,
is true.
that's the reality.
I've got a little LinkedIn one that I've been seeing. I'm going to read it because I don't really, but LinkedIn adds new context within its who's viewed your profile display. They said, now, a question. Obviously, like when you're premium, you can see everyone's names, but I do get where they're coming from because they're saying basically the who's viewed profile listing is among one of the useless social media features that the platform offers. And I would agree with that because I'm just like, what is the point in saying someone's viewed my profile and you can't even see it? And then you go over to it and it's like blurry and it's like, two people from XYZ have viewed your profile. And I'm like, what's the point if you can't see the person? Like,
This is their push. So they are, I think they're having a push on getting people to buy their
yeah.
products, like, you know, Sales Navigator, etc.
Mm.
They're going to have a push on newsletters as well, by the way, side note. But essentially, when you have that feature, it is really useful.
Yeah.
So, like Thursday mornings, like one of the things I do on a Thursday morning, and I've done it today, is I've looked through over the last week who's viewed my profile,
Yeah.
and I can see first connections, and maybe it's someone I've seen at a meeting, maybe it's someone I haven't spoken to for ages. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll drop a message. Hey, how you doing? Is it, you know, so there's someone that's viewed my profile in the last few days where I'm a bit like, why are they looking at my profile? Because it's not someone that I speak to it's not someone I would want to speak to anymore, if I'm honest. But
Yeah.
viewed my profile and I'm like, are they checking up on what I'm doing? There's
Yeah.
other people there as well where, like, based on what they do, I've gone like, okay, they must have been at the event Monday, Tuesday, and you know there were like over 100 people in the room. I spoke to a lot of people. There were a lot of people wanting to speak to me, but I didn't get to speak to everyone in the room.
Mm.
And I don't have photographic memory to recognise every single face, but like based on what they do, they were either in that room or they know someone who's in that room.
Yeah.
Like people posted about the event, that like maybe they've clicked through because they've seen me tagged in that post. So some of those people I've now sent connection requests to. And again, like you've only got a limited number of connection requests you can send. You want to make sure they're all valuable. If I'm connecting with
Yeah.
people who've already been checking me out, like for me, it's a really valuable feature because I've got a paid profile and I'm seeing all that information. So
Yeah.
it's useful when
I
you've got
think
it.
they should entice you in a bit more. So I think what they should do for the not the premium users, I think have a maximum of like 5 people that they show that's viewed. I know they say like such and such works at, and I think that's it, but it's so blurry and it's obviously like you want to check, but if they're not giving you anything to grab onto, I feel like if they showed you 5 and it's like see more here, then you're probably going to be a bit more like, I don't know, like enticed to buy the premium product because you're like, oh yeah, I would love to. But yeah, I feel, oh, my screen's gone. I was about to, yeah, see what it was saying. But it's, yeah, it was basically saying that like that feature is useless because people have no interest in making the connections with people. But I'm like, because it doesn't tell you who they are. Like for the premium people, it tells you who you are. But then when you've got someone saying 2 people viewed your profile and you can click on it and it's just a blurry profile picture, it's like, well, how can I make the connection?
Yeah.
So it should
No.
give you like maybe maximum 5 a day or something.
Again, this is why you've got to make sure you've got a fully optimized LinkedIn profile. So when they view your profile, they're compelled to connect with you.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
true.
and again, you know, you've got limits on how many connection requests you can send. You've got to make yourself as attractive as possible so people want to use their credit to connect with you instead.
Yeah, and it actually just said that it's a bit like at Tinder.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like it just said it's like just I don't know, like I feel like I don't know, that's what basically the way to described it on here. It's like
Do
you're
you know,
swiping left or right on.
right, do you know what's funny? It's like people that there are women who I've spoken to, and I could I'm not going to, but I could name that would that like they are being I'm going to say propositioned on LinkedIn, okay, on a regular basis. Like they're constantly getting people chatting them up on LinkedIn. I've never ever had it, not once, right? Not once. And I'm like, I'm starting to get a little bit offended actually. I'm like, I don't think I'm fugly, you know.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You know, I might accept the offer of a date here and there. I'm kind of like in that, you know, I'm a, you know, I'm a
A cat.
single female that's not unattractive. I'm like, I've got a few things going for. I mean, I realise I scare a lot of people off, admittedly, but you know, I'm like, you know,
The
I'd
question
like
is,
to know
Christina,
that.
have you the people that you message on LinkedIn, do you message them elsewhere? Or like do you mean new people that connect with so this is a bit like with, you know, with what we're saying here, they view your profile and they think, oh, pretty lady, and then you know, slide into
Well, I
the
don't know. I don't know whether these messages come in as connection requests or it's existing connections. I've no idea because I've never had them. And I said that
yeah.
the people that say that they've experienced that, I've not gotten into. They don't usually go into that detail. They're more kind of shouting about the fact that it's happened and that they think it's disgraceful. But I'm like, I feel like I've gone off topic now.
You've said this now though, Christina, right? And anyone that's going to be watching, you'll be like filled with like DMs this afternoon, being like, saw you on LinkedIn. You're defo not ugly. You defo got a bit of something about you.
Yeah, can you imagine someone clicking that notification now and tuning into this part of the
Yeah.
conversation? Like, what the hell is going on? There we go. There we go.
And I
Um,
think I don't know. I think even on the end of that, it's like, will LinkedIn become the new Tinder? We'll see.
well, that conversation's been had many times before, many times. I I don't know. Is there a dating app for professionals?
I'm sure there must be.
I
I
don't know.
reckon there is. If not, you're onto something there because let's be honest, it's like, have you I can't remember what the celebrity one is, but you actually have to like apply to go on it if you're not a celebrity. And like it's just mad. I was like, what? What is this? Like I didn't even someone told me about it a few weeks ago and I was just like, I think it's called like I'm gonna guess like Firo or something. But there's so many out there now that cover just completely different stuff. It's mad. Like I feel there's this fruit one. This is random, but there's this fruit one where you select your fruit and whatever fruit you select, it will just connect you with those people that are wanting the same sort of thing as you. So it's not like you're just going through all the battle of like what you're looking for. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it honestly. Like I literally
This
couldn't
is
do
why
it.
I don't do dating apps. This is why I
No,
don't do dating. There we go. All right. Okay. So, what else have we got in terms of the world of marketing? I haven't seen anything else this week that's particularly excited me. There are there's some stuff I need to look into that we'll probably talk about next week. So, I've just sit right. So, based on the conversation we've just had, Paul Green, thank you very much. He's just said the app Nicole's just been talking about he'd avoid the aubergine on that app. There we go. That distracted me, gave me a little giggle, so I thought I'd better share with the world what was going on there. Yeah, so like I said, there's been a few other things in the news, like how's Meta gonna deal with like what they put in place in terms of EU elections and that kind of thing. But nothing that's really stuck out for. There's some stuff around Reddit and some changes that are happening there, and but it's all kind of a bit hearsay at the minute. So there's not really talk about. There's been some stuff around changes to the sort of Google algorithms and how people appear in search, but again, I haven't seen enough information to form solid opinion to be able to talk about that yet, but we'll probably talk about it next week. Obviously we talked about LinkedIn quite a bit this week, so I feel like I should say people that are on our database, they've probably seen a couple of emails already this week. On the 13th, I nearly said the 13th of November. Like, it's definitely not November. It's the 13th of March. 13th of November isn't even an important date in my world, I don't think. Although now I'm probably going to get a message from someone going, "Hey, that's my birthday," and it'll be like, it's definitely not my mum. I know it's not my mum's birthday. Anyway, I digress again. The 13th of March, 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. We're doing an online LinkedIn workshop. So we're going to cover, basically, we're going to teach some of the things we've talked about today. So how do you make sure that people want to connect with you, have an optimized profile? We're going to go through all of that. We are going to go through posting strategies, what type of posts to use, when and why, and the effect those have, how the algorithm actually works. I will share with you information around like what is the best time to post and that kind of thing. But to be honest, it's different for everyone anyway. But it's a start people can sort of test their audiences and work that way. And basically all the things you need to do to make sure you're getting leads out of LinkedIn, that you're really working the platform. It is globally now, LinkedIn has over 1 billion users. Like there's only, in the UK alone, there's just under 30% of the population age 16 and above that use LinkedIn on a regular basis. And there's only a small percentage of those people that are actually contributing to the platform, posting regularly, that kind of thing. So actually it's a massive opportunity for people with niche markets to target exactly the people they want to target. It's the only platform that we can target based on job titles. So when you think about reaching the right avatars, it's the platform of choice, and yet it's so underutilized. So that workshop will make sure that the links go into the comments. That workshop is, like I said, the 13th of March, 2 p.m. It's like 2 till 5:30ish. Go through stuff in detail then. Bunch of stuff to cover, but I guarantee it'll be really, really valuable for everyone. And if you can't do that date, then I'd say book anyway. You can have the recording. And if you want to do it live, if we've got enough people, then we can run a second date and get more people on live that way. And it's great to have, FaceTime with me answering your specific questions on LinkedIn around your business. So, 13th of March, 2 p.m. Make sure you get booking for that. Okay, Nicole, I think that's everything.
I'll put the link. I've just got the comment, so I've just got the link to it, so I'll put it in the comments.
Perfect.
It'll come from me, but sorry, because I don't have control of this system.
Cool.
There we go. Oh, it said it's failed, but we'll try. I'll add it.
It's perfect. Yeah, I didn't plan on pitching it on this because we never pitch anything on this, but we'll get it added just because we talked about LinkedIn so much.
Yeah, definitely valuable.
Excellent. Cool. All right then. Well, that's it for this week. We will tune in again next Thursday. Hopefully we'll talk more about social media, less about dating. Hopefully we'll talk more about all the other social media platforms, not just about LinkedIn. Kim should be back with us as well, so she can tell us how the birthday celebrations went. And it'll be the week before we go off to the Recruitment Agency Expo as well. So we'll chat around plans for that. But yeah, thanks everyone. And we'll see you next Thursday at 12 noon. Bye for now.
Bye.